hearing to order. That's what this call the roll.
Trustee Brewer? Here. Trustee Carter?
Here.
Trustee Grant?
Here.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Here.
Trustee Here.
Okay, we're going to turn it over to our engineer, Mr. Garnet, for discussion and the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is the annual public hearing for the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. This is required by the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency in accord with the village's notice of intent for the Illinois General Permit, ILR 40. This permit is performed on a 5-year cycle, and the next notice of intent is due by October 1st of 2020 for the new permit cycle beginning in 2021. The goal of this program is to eliminate pollutants from entering the storm sewer system or detention ponds and depositing into rivers, lakes, creeks, which are the ultimate outlet points. For Sauk Village, these would be the Lansing Drainage Ditch and Deer Creek. There are 6 minimum required control measures, or MCMs. The first is public education and outreach. What the village has done to inform the public is, first of all, the annual report will be posted to the village's website, and secondly, a pollution prevention flyer is posted on the village's website. As a reminder, do not dump oil, paint, or other chemicals down the sewer, and clean up after your dogs in your yard and parks. The second minimum control measure is public involvement and participation. This public hearing is an example of this. The village welcomes public involvement. Call Public Works if you notice any spills in the village's streams. Sauk Village hosted a community cleanup day on April 28, 2018 to clean up around the village buildings and public right-of-ways. The third minimum control measure is illicit discharge detection and elimination. The village has an ordinance that it uses to address illegal discharges to village waterways. Public Works has identified all outfalls within the village. The village maintains an up-to-date sewer atlas that indicates all the outfalls. And the village's goal is to inspect 20% of the outfalls on an annual basis. The fourth minimum control measure is control of construction site stormwater runoff. The village has an erosion control ordinance in place to address construction site stormwater runoff. Developers are required to provide a stormwater pollution prevention plan, which addresses how to prevent erosion at construction sites. Developers are required to inspect their sites weekly during construction and after rain events. The fifth minimum control measure is post-construction stormwater management. The village has a post-construction ordinance in place to address long-term control of stormwater pollution from newly developed sites. Final inspections are required before the developer can leave the site. Detention is required for all developments in the village. And detention ponds and other post-construction measures filter out sediments prior to the sediments being released to the environment. And the final minimum control measure is pollution prevention and good housekeeping. The village conducts street sweeping, branch pickup, and leaf collection periodically throughout the year. The village's goal is to clean 20% of the village's catch basins per year to prevent the collected material from reaching the village's waterways. The village requests the public's help in inspecting inlets and catch basins and keeping them clear of debris. Robinson Engineering or village staff will develop a municipal operations program and stormwater management program for stormwater best management practices. So the annual activities moving forward, an annual report is made to the IEPA each year by June 1st. Ordinances and the stormwater sewer atlas are reviewed yearly. Public Works will conduct in-house training for good housekeeping practices. Public Works will mow and remove litter from detention ponds. Public Works is participating in a watershed group organized to implement control measures that will reduce chloride contamination in the watershed's receiving streams. Robinson Engineering will ensure that developments comply with stormwater ordinances and floodplain regulations. And now, Mayor, if you would have a call for questions from the trustees or the public, please.
Okay, are there any trustees that have any questions in regards to the presentation? Is there anyone have any questions for our engineer? Okay, I know it said adjournment, but I'll ask at this time, are there any comments or questions from the audience that they may have for the engineer at this time? Okay. I just want to say thank you very much. I see that we're trying to, we have to comply. And we have this hearing so we can let the public know and put it in writing that we are complying to the pollutant discharge elimination system. That's mandated by law. So there's no other questions. I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by trustee trustee Zupan, second by trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. We'll open the board meeting up in about 8 to 10 minutes. Thank you. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer?
Here.
Trustee Carter?
Here.
Trustee Grant?
Here.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Here.
Trustee Zupan? Here.
I will entertain a motion to go into executive session, personnel matters, to be discussed. And
Second.
also pending litigation and collective bargaining.
Second.
Okay. Motion by trustee Carter, second by trustee Grant. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. We're going to executive session. Okay, I'll accept the motion. I'll entertain a motion to reconvene.
Second.
Moved by trustee Carter, second by trustee Grant. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee
Yes.
Okay. Motion is carried. All right, next item, approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the journal proceedings for the committee meeting of December 4th, 2018.
So moved.
I second.
It was moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? No. Trustee Todd?
entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the regular board meeting of January 8th, 2019.
I motion.
I would move that we remove those from the agenda.
Okay.
You need a motion?
None? No, we're just. All right, next item, public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the business of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes. And may not engage in debate, comment, vote, replies, and the mayor, and I will answer all questions at the end of the question period. Please state your name when you come up.
1633 216th Place, Sauk Village.
We need to turn it down.
Good evening, Mayor.
Just a second, hold on just a second. They need to,
Village Clerk, Board, I come before you tonight not to blame or do anything, but as they say, someone told me that I need to come and speak with you tonight. Not as somebody trying to tell you what to do or how to do it. But I think that me has gotten to the place where he's sending me on a mission to tell you things. And the thing is that we got to learn to respect each other. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. But I say when there's a question asked of the mayor or whoever's asking the question, if you don't know the answer, just tell them I'll get back to you. The same thing applies to the audience. When you get here to the mic, come here for business and ask a question. You know, fellas, I've been real sick. From that, I learned. How long it would be, I don't know. But he told me to come and tell you this. And it's up with you to use it. You don't have to hate each other. You don't have to argue with each other. None of that stuff is important. What's important is speak what you think is best to be done in the village, whether it's come from me or whether it's come from a 3-year-old child. Learn to respect that. That's the way I feel about it, and that's what I have to tell you guys tonight. So you can say that you want to listen to it or you don't, but just listen to what I'm telling you right now, is that we all don't know how long, because I didn't know, but I was real sick. And from that point, I learned very quickly that nobody is promising nothing. So I say to you, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Board, thank you, Village Clerk, for listening to me. Thank you very much.
thank you.
I have no equipment. Bear with me.
Judy Cast here. I'm going to try to rush this because I have a lot to say. I was here meeting before last. I was not here last meeting. And I brought to the attention that I was at a police pension meeting. While there, I was able to ask a question. And I asked if the police negotiations were still going on. The president of the pension board told me, yes, but we haven't had a meeting in over 2 months. So I brought it to this board and asked the question, why are we paying HR for meetings that don't exist? Because she's continually on the payroll as she is tonight. Nobody up there said anything. Nobody asked a question. None of our fluent financiers, you might say, had anything to say about it. And before the meeting was over, they voted to pass accounts payable payment. without a question. No meetings, she's getting paid. And this is why people get the name bobblehead. I also, Joe Wizawati has an assistant. The financial director had 2 part-time, 1 full-time people working with her with the finance department. Everybody's got people coming in. Oh, it's in the budget. Well, I don't believe it. And I want to know why, if we have police officers in the budget, we haven't got our police officers. Our crime rate is up high. The shootings are high. There were 14 shooters in less than a week. There was gunshot right next door to me. Shot out the man's picture window. Got close to his wife's head while she was watching the news on TV. But we don't need any more cars on the road? Obviously, you don't have a scanner and listen to the running around that these guys have to do and the overtime they have to put in. And yet, you don't want to help the police department. I think it's a disgrace. You're spending money on things that are not needed, assistants that aren't going to be doing anything. And if the financial director isn't here, what are the people in the finance office going to do now? Who's going to tell them what to do?
Pat Couch. I spoke with our chief of police last at the safety meeting, and we brought up some issues that were concerning to all of our residents, I'm sure. One of those issues we mentioned was body cameras for our police officers. We don't have the money, I'm sure, but there are ways to get that money if we work hard and diligently together to figure out what we need to do to get those body cameras for either the officers and or their cars. These men are put in a position every day out there on that street. They don't know when the next kid is going to have a gun when they try to reprimand these kids or catch these kids that are running rampant. When they run after these kids and run and jump the fences, they have nothing but their bodies to protect them. Now, I know they wear a body or a vest, but that may not protect them as they need to. Then, if they do catch these kids and they go to court, they have nothing to back them up to say, this kid had a gun, this kid had a knife, or whatever the case might be, or it's an adult. Why don't we figure out a way to do something to help these police officers get those body cameras as a collective group to come together to help these men that are helping us by protecting us out there on that street? Another issue, I believe Mr. Mayor said a few weeks back that all our officers were paid in full. I think that I have to differ with that. I did hear some grumblings that that has not been the case. That's one thing. I did see on the accounts payable that uniform allowances were paid. I'd like to know if that makes everybody current with their allowances for our police department. And the dog is still there. The chief did get his little treats to try to calm that dog down, which I hope we don't have to go through that. Another question that I have on my mind is, we don't see our fire chief here. Now, I know he said he was going to retire at 50 years. We haven't seen him in a long time. Is that 50 years up? Are we going to see our fire chief back? Because he doesn't seem to participate in our meetings anymore. And I'm just curious when we're going to see him back. Thank you.
Rachel Eastman. I wanted to, just again, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had requested for you to answer possibly why we were having an assistant for for Joe Wizawati. He's already getting paid a certain amount that people disagree with, and now we're shelling out $25,000 more for an assistant. I just want to know possibly what that assistant will be doing to help and how that's benefiting our village with that $25,000 that we could potentially possibly have a police officer or a fireman. And then, so I just want to know if they have the correct education for that as well, and if there's any requirements, like minimum requirement of an education for an assistant position of that sort. And then I would like to know if we were going to have anything going on, because I'm believing that the community center hasn't been running. So, well, the last 2 weeks, I don't know if that's due to weather or if there's no more program. So I would like to know that. And that would be all. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Debbie Williams. I just wanted to first of all thank Chief White and Trustee Zupan. I attended yet another public safety meeting, and I heard a little bit about Chief White's vision of how he plans to move forward. You know, the public safety is very important to the community. We have had a lot of issues recently. So I have turned in my letter of interest to Trustee Zupan to join the Public Safety Committee. So hopefully we can work together and see what we can do collectively to try to help with the situation. I just wanted to say again that not receiving information from this administration is what causes the misinformation and the speculation that a lot of people have to deal with. I have asked for the accounts payable for 2017 and 18 since August. I have yet to receive them. I did put a FOIA in yesterday. Hopefully I'll receive those. I asked for a copy of the vacant homes list, and I was told that that's confidential. But it's never been confidential in the past, and I asked the Attorney General's office if that's something that's normally confidential, and they told me no. They said go ahead and FOIA it, and if you don't get it, then you can appeal the decision based on why they say it's confidential. That's never been anything that's been confidential before. I think that we can work together to get things accomplished if we're willing to share ideas and communicate with each other. If there's one thing that any of us should have learned after the last 10 years of attending these board meetings is that not working together is the problem. We have to work together, and we have to respect each other, and we have to share information, because I don't want information shared to me that's incorrect. And when I come to the village board meetings, or I ask a mayor or a clerk or a board member for information and I get misinformation, I'm going to share that information with someone else. If I don't get any information, then I can only speculate what I think to be true. So what I'm saying and what I'm asking is, can we be just a little bit more open and transparent with each other? And could we be more willing to work with each other? I am willing. I'm willing to work with anybody. I've just joined 2 committees that I'm happy to be a part of. And I'm hoping after April or May, we can all work together again, regardless to who's elected. We need to work together as a community. This is a fabulous community, but we've kind of lost sight on what's important. Thank you.
Okay, you start off with the comment that was given by one of the residents. I appreciate it, and yes, we should respect one another. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sad to say, but I don't even know how to explain that part when that does happen. Negotiations, I can tell you this, are still going on. There's a lot of issues in that, and the board was told about today in the executive session. There's a lot of issues that are going on with the negotiation. You just don't negotiate, you just, okay, that's it, and we take care of it. There's a lot of different aspects to negotiating that you don't see up front. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that have to be taken care of till we get to certain points. Just because they don't have a meeting doesn't mean that work is not being done. As far as personnel questions, again, I do not answer personnel questions. Person that mentioned that there's 14 shootings, I'm sure the chief is sitting right here. I wasn't aware of 14 shootings in a week, but like I say, you know, that's, if you say that's what it was, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what it was, but I didn't hear 14 shootings, and I'm sure the chief is sitting here, so I'm sure he'll, you know, address that at a later date. I don't attempt to try to micromanage any one person to find out why, but I will tell you this, as I said before, officers cannot stop shooting. People can't stop shooting. The person that's shooting has to stop shooting. If you got it in your mind that's what you want to do, who would know what that's going to do, what's going to happen until that happens? I'm hoping that the person that the people that are doing this will get into their minds that what is it going to accomplish by killing another human being. If you got it set in your mind to kill another human being, that's what you have set in your mind. That's what people do. A police officer standing in front of someone is not going to stop that person if they have it in their mind they want to shoot a person. So by saying that we need more police officers to stop shootings, only thing but the police officers will do is deter. That's what they're there for, deter. Can you stop a shooting? No. Chicago has a whole lot more police officers. They have a whole lot more people, but their ratio to police officers is a lot different than ours, and they still can't stop the shootings. So I'm just, you know, I'm trying to, and I've given the chief, we've talked about different things to help the officers that are there is more than just what was said, and I have the utmost confidence in this chief that he came in, boots on the ground, running, and trying to make this department a model department in the south suburbs. Yes, there's a few things that has to be done. It was not perfect. If it was perfect, then we wouldn't have had this problem. So yes, there are some things, but he's addressing those items and those issues. As far as body cameras, we've talked about that. No, I didn't bring it out to the board because we're still talking about the cost and what we need to do with body cameras and vehicle cameras. So it's not just, okay, we go out there and buy this. We have to have a lot of different other aspects in place in order to get body cameras. Just can't go out there and get them, and then, you know, you have to have storage. There's a lot of different things involved in just purchasing a body camera or a dash camera. This next one, as far as got paid, I said it before. I don't know, somebody's probably telling you that they didn't get paid. I don't know about you. If I didn't get my check, I would definitely be at whatever place that next day, find out why I didn't get my check. Now, you're saying that this person didn't get paid or whatever. Obviously, that hasn't happened because I haven't heard anything, anybody come in and say, well, I didn't get my check. So every officer, every person that works in the village got paid. There's people that work in the village that are sitting there right here. They all got paid. If they didn't get paid, believe me, we would know about it. So I don't know what someone is saying. Then again, I can't stop hearsay. I cannot stop what's going on, other than what comes out of my mouth. I can't stop somebody else saying something. But I do know that everybody has been paid. Uniform allowances is ongoing. Will that bring us up to date? It will bring us up to date as far as for those officers. Uniform allowances are paid on anniversary. So anniversaries are different times during the year for each officer. So it's not a matter that we paid up, you know, I mean, everybody that's due a uniform allowance has gotten paid their uniform allowance. That's what you see on accounts payable. I do have a person here for the fire chief. You have a representative. If you got some questions, I'm quite naturally, if you have questions for the fire chief, the representative that's here. It's Captain Centerway. So it's not a matter of if he's gonna come or what. If he's out, if he happens to be off that day, I mean, everyone takes that times off. I don't know what job that anyone had that never took a day off, but they do take time off. So if he's not here, then he must have took some time off. Again, I don't talk about personnel, even though if you try to push me into personnel, what position and education and all that, I don't discuss personnel matters in open board meetings. I've said that many times. Receiving information, I try to inform the board, the residents. In my office, I'm always here. I mean, I'm not here 100%, but I'm here at least 90% of the time. And if I'm not here, then it's already, it's documented I had to go to a meeting or whatever, but I'm here. So if you're saying that you're not getting information, I don't know who you're asking, who's telling you that, but I'm here. Even after the board meeting, I'm still here. If there's something that you have that you weren't clear on, I'm right here. Let's go over it, let's find out. I've even invited people to my office after that because they wanted more detail and put time on the side for that person to come, and it never happened. So, I'm here and available. I'm going to check into this vacant list. I don't know about as far as legalities against that or with that, because there is something about personal positions that the village cannot divulge. So I have to check into that to make sure that we're not violating anything as far as giving someone's address for non-payment or whatever the case may be. So I have to see that. But as far as being open and transparent, that's all we try to do. I know that, you may not be what you want to hear, but it is what it is. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to answer the questions. Yes, I will not answer personnel questions. I will not go into personnel items. Personal business is what it is. It's personal business. So whether a person is this or that or whatever, it's not for me to say. I'm not going to deal with that part of it. That being said, move on to the reports from officers. Okay, today, I do have my State of the Village address that I will convey to each and every one of you. Before I do that, I will tell everyone tomorrow we're having a business after hour for all of our businesses that are here in the village, and our vendors that come in and do business in the village. And so if you want to come out and meet some of the people, some of the owners of these different businesses, industrial, commercial, or retail. Hopefully we'll get most of them here, and it'll be at the senior center starting at 4:30, and there'll be a light refreshment. Just don't come out to eat, though. Come out and listen and talk to the different businesses and let them know if you have some concerns. If you feel that the business is not conducive the way that you feel, talk to them. Let them know how you feel about it. Let them know that this is what you would like to see or whatever. They won't know that unless someone tells them that. So, with that being said, good evening and thank you all for attending and coming out tonight. As I said before, I'm very humbled and proud to serve you as mayor and to present to you my second State of the Village address. Not even cold weather can shut down the progress that we have made here in the last 21 months. Since we've met last year, we have made significant progress on getting our village back on track. I attribute that success to the hard work and dedicated staff that we depend upon to provide professionalism and Village Treasurer Anthony Finch, Director of Economic Development Joseph Wizawadi, Director of Public Works Kevin Weller, Police Chief Malcolm White, Fire Chief Al Staff Reagan, Director of EMA Alan Vavrick, Administrative Assistant, Mary Klopp, and HR Consultant, Dr. Alicia Straughter. I also want to thank those trustees who support our strategic plan for progress and helping to assure that we move forward on the pathway to progress. A special thank you to all of our employees who are on the front line providing the services to our residents each and every day. They recognize the critical needs of our residents. I want to say thank you to all those who volunteer in many capacities in our village. You are all an important link between our residents, businesses, and village board. I would not be here today without giving thanks to my biggest supporter, my wife, Juanita Burgess. You have been my rock. Finally, I want to thank God for all of his blessings upon our community. This year's address will include our plans for 2019 while highlighting our successes since 2017. This year, we are staying focused on our pathway to progress for Sauk Village. A new start in 2019 with a renewed commitment to approaching our goals with more energy and drive for the future of our community and focus on success. Continued accountability, continued balanced budget, greater security for our residents, and expansion of youth services. I am proud to say that the state of our village is stronger than before. We faced many challenges in 2018 as we began the year with much enthusiasm and confidence that we would bring about the change that we were committed to when we began our journey in 2017. Many tried to resist the change. Change was mandated by the people of Sauk Village in the 2017 election. We continue to bring about that change in 2018 as the status quo was not going to continue. The residents want us to get our village on a pathway to progress, and in 2018 we made significant changes in both personnel and the way that we were doing business day to day. I reported last year that when I took office in May of 2017 that the village had been in financial chaos. I'm pleased to report that the financial chaos is over. Today I'm happy to report that we are able to, 1, adopt responsible financial policies and procedures. 2, adopt a balanced and reasonable budget with realistic projections. 3, reduce our overall deficit by $2 million. Number 4, establish the village's first ever reserve fund. Number 5, stop regularly taking money out of the water fund. Number 6, implemented an automatic payroll service. Number 7, reduce our overall financial risk. Number 8, approve a bond issue to save us $160,000 in interest. Number 9, a bond issue that will provide $2 million for infrastructure improvements. Number 10, reduce our legal bills by $400,000 per year. Number 11, reduce our legal exposure by sound HR practices. I am pleased to report to you that the village is now able to issue bonds once again because we ended the financial chaos. I am pleased to report we eliminated the status quo. Our aging report, which routinely exceeded $1 million during prior administrations, has been virtually eliminated. We lowered our property taxes by 21.9%, which will reduce property taxes for residents and businesses. Finances have not only been our only success, we have made big strides in economic development since 2017. I'm pleased to report to the residents, businesses, and to the village board in 2018, we closed on the sale of 32 acres of land the village owned for 14 years. We sold this property and made $1.35 million. Not only were we able to sell this property, but we negotiated with the buyer to bring in private investment of some $10 million. I want to thank Lynn McHenry for bringing gas and wash to Sauk Village, a great addition to our community that will bring in over $500,000 in revenue to the village each year. That will provide our residents with a gas station, car wash, restaurant, and about 80 new jobs. Sauk Village has not had such a commercial development since 1998. Look for a grand opening celebration as we see gas and wash opening for business this spring. Economic development has been a key component to our strategic plan for progress and reiterates our commitment to our comprehensive plan. We have secured a $350,000 grant for Phase 1 engineering in our logistics center. The study is critical for the expansion of our industrial park, which will bring Sauk Village new businesses and opportunities. This study will get underway in 2019 and will be completed by 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, this is progress. These have been major steps in our journey on our pathway to progress. So we will focus on the continued progress in 2019. We will focus on a balanced budget in the coming fiscal year. Crime is everywhere and Sauk Village is not exempt. With our new budget, I plan on bringing on additional police officers to increase our police presence and provide better security for our residents and businesses. I have asked our departments to continue to do more with less and work smarter, not harder. Give the residents value for their dollar. We will continue to negotiate fair contracts with our employees, both fair to the taxpayers and fair to our employees. We cannot irresponsibly sacrifice our future by squandering a one-time cash infusion by making commitments we cannot keep, leading us back to financial chaos. We will continue to focus our effort on cleaning up Sauk Village. Dead trees will be removed throughout the village as we continue our efforts to remove eyesores along the parkway. I'm pleased to report that we will continue our grass mowing efforts on vacant homes this summer. Last year, we were able to mow 178 vacant homes. We do not just want to mow vacant homes, but we want to fill these vacant homes with homeowners. That is why we will continue working with the South Suburban Land Bank and Cook County Land Bank, as well as private investors, to get these homes back on the tax rolls. Some of these homes which are deteriorated are in for the queue for demolition and will be taken down. I'm pleased to report we have applied for an additional $75,000 grant to assist us with the demolition of these homes in 2019. Last year we received $75,000 and hope we can continue that progress this year. We have reintroduced home inspections last year and will continue that effort in 2019. Raising our standards is critical to getting our village back on track. Raising property values and ensuring safe homes for our residents. We will re-examine our standing committee for the village board in May of this year. I want to thank those trustees who have accepted the challenge in 2018 and who have provided us with guidance and input in these respective assignments. These may not be committee meetings, they may not be committee meetings, but they provide invaluable counsel in the role which they were entrusted. Thank you to Trustee Cecil Tate, who has been helpful and instrumental in securing the IDA grant, which has allowed us to maintain the 178 properties in 2018 and for 2019. Trustee Tate will complete his term as village trustee in May, but will not complete his commitment to service. Trustee Roderick Grant, who has worked with getting our village finances back on track and also worked to get our financial procedures and policies completed and approved by the village board. Trustee Grant will continue in his role as chairman of the Village Budget and Finance Committee and has done an outstanding job. Trustee Beth Zupan, who has worked with police, fire, and EMA as well, has worked to get our village newspaper back on running. She is also working on the village's new website as well, in addition to getting the community policing initiative begun with the new chief of police. Trustee Zupan will continue to work on improving communications with our residents and businesses, which was a key component in our strategic plan for progress. Trustee Ronald Carter, who has been helpful in providing guidance on community outreach and community events. Trustee Carter was appointed in 2018 and brings a level of professionalism to the village board that we can truly appreciate. Trustee Carter will focus on implementing youth programs and will work on community events in 2019. Trustee Linda Todd, who has worked on reviewing village ordinances referred to her and her community. Trustee Todd has done a great job on getting ordinances reviewed and back to the village board for approval in a timely manner. Again, I want to thank those trustees who believe in getting our village on a pathway to progress, who have been supportive of the initiatives of this administration and our strategic plan for progress. In 2018, we began a new comprehensive plan. This process has been long and required input from the community. Our consultant on this project has hosted numerous meetings, community events, and town hall meetings, and in 2019, we will complete this plan and begin implementation of this plan. Being recognized and identified by agencies such as Cook County, South Suburban Mayors and Managers as a community that is truly working hard to turn our village around, truly shows the progress we have made. I am pleased to report that Sauk Village has also been selected by CMAP, Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, to host a staff employee for the next 2 years. Our new planner will, among other things, assist us with the implementation of our goals and objectives of our comprehensive plan and assist with identifying funding sources for which we can tap into other projects as well. The goal of the position is to leave a lasting legacy in place for future staff to carry on. The best part about the new planner is that it will not cost the taxpayers of Sauk Village a dime. This is funded for the next 2 years through CMAP. Many things we have been working on would not be possible without grant funding. I would be remiss if I did not identify all the grants that we have been working through and toward over the course of the last couple of years. $560,000 federal grant in 2017, which allowed us to complete long overdue road work and sidewalk improvements on 223rd Street and Cornell Avenue. $75,000 invested in Cook grant in 2017, which assisted on the same project. $135,000 of local technical assistance grant, which allowed us to begin our new comprehensive plan, which will be completed in 2019. $75,000 grant from the Illinois Housing Department Authority, which allowed us to mow vacant and abandoned homes in 2018 and this year as well. $100,000 in preliminary engineering assistance from Cook County, which allowed us to apply for and receive a $350,000 investing grant in 2018 for our logistics center phase 1 engineering study. $200,000 in CDBG street maintenance grant funding, which will allow us to repair streets in 2019. $150,000 in staff support from CMAP to fund a 2-year salary for the planner that will be with our village. $8,483 in police camera grant, which is a police camera grant, which is underway, and $2,400 for replacing bulletproof vests. Last month, we applied for an additional $75,000 through the Illinois Housing Department Development Authority to assist with housing demolition. That is some $1.7 million in grants and other assistance that we have received, utilized, or we're working towards just in the last 19 months. We continue to face many challenges in 2019 and beyond, and we will go into an election, as we go into an election cycle. I hope we can set aside politics and work toward what is going well for our community. We will focus on what truly matters in 2019. Sauk Village has already begun to make big strides on the pathway to progress. I am confident that with the continued support of the residents of Sauk Village, we will continue to achieve great things. I thank you for coming out tonight, and God bless our village. Okay, next report, Village Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And that was a very impressive State of the Village Pathway to Progress report that you just provided. And you shared with us some wonderful information in terms of the accomplishments of you and your administration. You also highlighted specific individuals But one thing that I noticed that was not there, and it's concerning because it was part of my report for tonight anyway, and that is you didn't speak to justice and equity within the village, within the people who walk these halls on a daily basis, because I do feel that where I'm concerned, I see a lot of injustice, and I know that this administration is not very positive where I'm concerned, because I feel a great deal of hostility frequently when I walk in here. But that's not for you to handle at this point, because it wasn't even worth, the village clerk office was not even worth mentioning in all of this, 14-page document that you provided. But let me just move on, because I would like to address the trustees at this point. Trustees, I have asked, I have researched, and I've given you the information in terms of the other villages in our area that have deputy clerks. I have jumped up and down for everything that I've asked for. I've given you all of the, I've researched, I've given you the data, not just where the deputy clerk was concerned, but other areas as well. And to me, you have failed this office, because likewise, the mayor has not been supportive of the village clerk's office. You've not been either. The only thing that you've done was you create a little more work as you asked me to jump through some hoops for some items that I asked for that has not been forthcoming. And please believe me that it's not because we just hired another assistant that I'm back on this tirade. I have been asking for assistance to assist me. I've even asked for volunteers. When volunteers come in, they've been treated very badly. They do not come back anymore because they're not made to feel welcome. You leave me out here all alone, except I am very thankful that just today, Trustee Zupan did offer to assist me with some of the minutes so that I can just get up to speed a little bit more and make certain that I get out our executive board meeting minutes. So I do appreciate you for that, Trustee Zupan. But I am still in the market for someone to assist me. Someone, anybody, that can come in and give me an hour or 2 hours, once or twice a week. File something for me. You should see my office. But let me move on and talk about some of the other things that the village clerk's office is responsible for to make certain that the village runs, even though it's not in this report. And that is, it is now time to order vehicle decals. Did you turn me off? No. I mean, seriously, this disturbs me. You've listed every department head, every trustee in this report, and the village clerk's office, that's ugly, Mayor. That's very ugly. But anyway, let me move on. It is time for the vehicle stickers, and I spoke with the person, said, know that I ordered, we still have, at this late stage, we still have about 300 stickers that have not been purchased. So we're lacking there in terms of the code, enforcing the code, enforcing vehicle stickers. Now the animal tags is even worse. We lowered the number of animal tags to 200 last year from 500 in the previous years. We still have more than 150 animal tags. I only ordered. So that means our residents are not purchasing these animal tags. And I know that I've mentioned it before, that it's something that we really need to focus on enforcing. Otherwise, let's do away with it. But it is a revenue source. But I'm buying mine for my animals, but so many others aren't buying, and we're not enforcing it, but we're spending money to buy the tags. Something's a little bit askew, and I think that it's a piece that we're going to have to really look at. Let's talk about records right now, because one of the things that most of you all think that the village clerk, the only thing the village clerk do is take notes and keep records. Well, I'm not doing a very good job with the minutes, and that's posted all over every place, and so we acknowledge that. And I'm not doing very well with record keeping either. And let me share with you why I'm not doing well with record keeping. I'm not doing well with records keeping because I don't get the records. I don't get records to file. I don't get records to secure. So, you know, as we talk about the village not being in compliance in some areas, then if you're so concerned, let's work on getting the village in compliance in all areas. The village clerk's office is the depository for all of the records of the village. I don't get them. And then if I got them, though, really I wouldn't have any place to put them because the office is so small. But it's still statute. So I'm just going to say, let's follow statute. Now, I have a couple of announcements, if you're willing to listen. And that one, we're going to have a dinner dance. You know, we talk about our youth needing things to do. We're going to have a dinner dance for our youth who are in 7th and 8th grade. Not just students from Rickover, they will be any of the students that live in the village who are 7th or 8th grade. And guess what, people? They have to get dressed up to come. This is going to be one of those days where we're looking for having some youngsters who are very polished, on very good behavior, and I'm really excited to be planning that. A couple of other things I wanted to bring to your attention, and that's some candidate forums. Sauk Village's Candidates Forum, and that is only for candidates that's running in Sauk Village for trustee and school board. That is going to take place March the 16th. We have secured the League of Women Voters to moderate that for us because those people, they're from Park Forest and they're the ones who basically moderate and plan all of the other ones in the south suburbs. So we're very fortunate that they'll be able to do ours as well. But that's not the only opportunity that candidates will have and residents will have to hear from our candidates, because Bloom Township Democratic Organization has planned 2 such forums as well. For school board members, that's going to be February the 27th. For trustees, that will be March the 13th. It's during the time that their regular meeting is. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the Open Lands Grant, which would provide trees. That didn't get in here either. You know, shoot, because I did it, I guess. But anyway, we're having a meeting on the 14th, and we have a very good grant writer who is planning to be here with us, and us mean Kevin Weller and myself, and if someone else would like to join and give your input, we are meeting on the 14th at 2 o'clock right here, where we look at how many trees do we really want, how many do we think that we can get this year and get planted, and how many supporters that we think that we will be able to have and get, and then where we would go from there. Mr. Mayor and trustees, that concludes my report.
Village engineer, Mr. Jim Sonic.
Thank you, Mayor. We have completed the design of the I-394 water main crossing replacement project. All that remains are the final stages of our quality control, quality assurance phase of the project, which involves review of the contract documents by village staff and final technical reviews. Once the comments generated by these reviews have been addressed, the project will be ready to bid in March. The elevated tank riser replacement project can also be rebid in March. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Fire Department, Captain Dennis Sunaway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the 3-week period from January 17th through February 7th, the Fire Department responded to 40 calls for service. There were no major incidents. Most were faulty detectors and ambulance assists. The Fire Department had personnel at the station 24/7 for the period January 28th through February 1st for the polar vortex. This allowed the station to be used as a warming center if residents needed a place to go. Fortunately, it was not needed. Please continue to check on your neighbors to ensure their safety. We welcome back another member to our department. His name is Cameron Luther. Cameron's 2 brothers and his sister are also members, as well as his dad. His grandfather, Zeke Luther, is a retired assistant chief of our department. This concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board.
Thank you. Police Department Chief Malcolm White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Village Board. For the period between January 23rd and February 12th, the Police Department received or answered 395 calls for service. During that same time period, our department also made 9 arrests. That concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can we go back one? I forgot to ask a question to Robinson Engineering. You indicated that the design for the I-394 water main crossing replacement project is going to be completed by what date did you say?
I said that it would be bid in March.
Bid in March? Okay. Do we have any idea how much the bid would be? Anticipate how much we're looking for?
The cost estimate for the project, I believe, is $150,000, somewhere in that range.
Okay, $150,000. And this I-394 water main, this is going to go under the expressway over to Lenny Car Wash and over to the laundromat, or where is it going to be located?
223rd, and it'll cross the expressway.
Okay.
To the Sauk Point Industrial Park.
To Sauk Point. Okay, thank you.
Emergency Management Agency Director Alan Vavrick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. From the time of January 22nd to February 12th, EMA responded to 14 calls of service relevantly to the calls that the fire department spoke of. Also, too, as you can hear outside, we're under a wind advisory till 3 a.m. in the morning with winds up to 30 miles to 40 miles an hour. Also, too, on March 4th, Sauk Village EMA will be attending a pipeline safety program sponsored by CORE, held in Alsip, Illinois, which is no cost for the class to the village. And March 14th, we're going to have our monthly SMART meeting. That'll be in Crete, Illinois. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Economic Development Director Joseph Wiswater.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report prepared for this evening. However, the staff person, assistant that did start this last week, she's doing a fantastic job. The staff person was hired to replace a staff member that resigned the previous year. So it's not a new position. This is a position that we filled. Some of you have already met the new individual. Those of you who have not, please feel free to introduce yourself as you heard. That's all I have.
Thank you. Reports of trustees, standing committees, and comments. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry if I can interrupt. I think we have a report from Department Head as well.
Go ahead. I didn't get that.
Yeah, sure, I'll make a copy. It was in my inbox, so it might be that it's in everybody else's inbox too, but if not, I'll make a copy. Sure. So if I may just read from Mr. Weller. He said the water main break in the field behind Rickover School is completed. The second one at 1771 223rd Place. They found the leak at the hydrant. They're ordering parts and repair both the backhoes at the second dig. Both are working. Second item, staff had several snow events, some needing salt only, others needing plowing and salt to complete. Each storm is tracked to determine the need. The temperature is the final deciding factor. Item 3, the staff had several trucks break down during those snow events, from hopper motor number 6, hydraulic hoses, electric work, and plowing issues on another item. Item number 4, they had a small job being completed at the hall here, the police department, the fire department, public works as well, like plumbing, lights, heaters, new requests, and cleanup. And he promises the Christmas tree will be taken down as soon as the lift truck is repaired, because we're all bugging him about that. I promise you we are. Next, he reports that the staff is prepping 2 more street lights. One is located at the corner of 217th Street and Merrill. The arm and the light head are damaged from the windstorm. The second one is located at 215th Place in Jeffrey. The light was shot out and it needs a new head. The lift truck, again, is being worked on, and as soon as that one is repaired, it should be back in 2 weeks. And then both for the fire department and public works, explorers were ordered and are ready. And that concludes his report.
Thank you. Next item is reports from trustees, standing committees, and comments. Public Service Committee Trustee Bernice Brewer.
Mr. Mayor, your state of Sauk Village shows a lot of great accomplishments in the village, and I beg to differ with some of the things. If you pass that down, get the top sheet like that. Since Mohan has left, we have no idea the status of our finances. Since the abrupt departure of Suffolk, there's questions to be asked. We don't have an inability to get any reports, and this is before Suffolk left, and there's no transparency. I understand that you have all these great figures that you come up with, but unless we have some reports to substantiate, you know, what you're saying, you know, people are going to be skeptic about what you talk about, all these great accomplishments we have. What I want to do is that, how can you speak on, this is rhetorical present, speak on all the accomplishments, but we as trustees haven't got any reports or anything. Now, what I just passed out to you is a more comprehensive report on the request for proposal. It has a little bit more meat into it, and it's going to be on the next week's agenda on the 19th, and I would love for the trustees to come out and ask questions and talk about what's going on. Now, for years, Sauk Village officials have improperly improperly shifting water and tax monies to the general fund to pay multi-million-dollar shortfalls. Although accounting firms have conducted annual audits for years, Sauk Village officials have acknowledged that the fund transfers have been standard practice and as well created a pit of massive debt out of which we cannot dig ourselves out of. Sauk Village has been living beyond its means for quite some time. The time has come to seriously address the financial chaos that has become the norm. I propose that a request for proposal be drafted, approved, and implemented as a means to find out just where the money is. The purpose of the financial forensic audits is to assure that Sauk Village record keeping follows general, acceptable accounting principles and a true fund balance. The RFP specifies in the financial forensic audit will address a compilation of financial data that can be used to determine reliability, accuracy, and the strength of internal audits regarding Sauk Village finances. We ask that the financial audit may or may not uncover intentional fraud or misrepresentation of fact. The purpose of this audit is not to imply or accuse anybody of any wrongdoing, but rather create a tool to justify revenue and expenditures related to our Sauk Village finances. In an effort to address financial sovereignty, trustees should know where the money is. We have no idea where the money is. We are not getting any reports. Secondly, we want to know what has the money been used on. We can't get a detailed ledger that tells you anything about what's going on in the water fund, say for instance. I know what the bottom line, everybody knows what the bottom line, but how did we get to the bottom line? We don't know because we don't get any reports. And we also like to know where's the money, where is the money at right now? You know, what are we gonna do and so we won't have to borrow any more money? This is no means by a comprehensive plan. This is a template just for a talking point so we could find out what's really going on in the village and finance. Because for some reason, you indicated that we're doing a fine job. We might be, I don't know. We don't get any reports that let us know. We can't get anything, Suffolk's not here, Mohan has left. You know, so these things that you need to make an informed decision. You cannot make an informed decision if you don't have any supporting documents. That's the bottom line. And I asked for a resolution to be drafted by the attorney, not to exceed a specific amount from $45,000 to $100,000. That's the target that I use and have supporting documents for. But this resolution will be a win-win for everybody. You know, residents are asking every week, where's the money? We can't tell them where the money is because we don't get any reports to tell you where the money is. So with that being said, the ultimate goal here is to unravel the financial puzzle efficiently and address those deficiencies so we can move forward. We're all for working and helping with each other, but we can't make an honest decision and we don't have any reports. And that's the end of my report.
It's a good question that you asked where.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, there's no debate, rebuttal in there, and all that sort of stuff.
I didn't ask about debate. I'm not debating you.
Okay.
I'm just making a statement, if that's okay with you. You've asked for the last 2 years since you've been the trustee, you FOIA'd, I don't know how much, to ask what's going on. That card over there represents maybe a third of the reports that you asked for that you have not picked up. And they were been in my office, and they've been in the other FOIA clerk's office that you had asked for different reports, different finances. That represents maybe a third of how much you've asked for. And to say that it hasn't been given to you, we're not going to deliver it to you. If you want to come into the village, matter of fact, take it with you today.
Oh,
if you want to come in, but this was available to the trustee from day one. But to say that it was never available, I beg to differ. But I'm not going to sit back and argue back and forth. But that right there shows just what it is, and that's just a third of the requests that's been going into FOIA each and every week for the last year and 8 months. So to say that it was not given is ludicrous, but we'll move on. Budget and finance, trustee.
So I have a rebate for yours. I have a rebate for yours. Then you're gonna sit up there and try to disrespect me and carry on. You don't. All those things are not mine. You know, and you know it. How do you know? Was you here?
Trustee, I made a statement, and we're moving on.
So, I wanna talk about what you're talking about there.
You wanna hold this village hostage now to listen to what
you held me hostage. I listened to what you were saying.
You don't have to listen, but we're going to move on to do business.
Because I know what you just said is not true. You guys just pulled that stuff. I've been sitting here. Everybody knows I've been sitting here asking for reports and haven't got it.
Trustee Roger Grant.
And I've been sitting here every week asking for
Trustee
reports, and you
Roger
haven't been
Grant,
giving me any reports. Now, all of a sudden you come with a great big old spot of reports. You know you've been pulling that stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You probably did.
All you was sitting here and trying to hold this place.
Well, then you ought to be quiet and then stop telling people all this stuff. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You're going to tell me you're going to move on.
But you're supposed to be Go ahead, trustee.
Yeah, you're supposed to be professional, you know, you trying to diss me, come on now, we all can do that.
Trustee, just because you keep talking doesn't mean you're right, please.
Mayor, it doesn't mean that you're right either, okay? I've been asking for information
There it
about
is right
for
there.
you for the longest,
There it
and
is
you
right there.
haven't,
There it is right there.
oh, I got it now,
It's
but
been
where
there.
has it been for all this
It's been
time?
there. It's been
Okay,
there
you
since
sit
you
up
started
there
asking.
holding in your office, and I have asked them, every week I come in there and ask you for
No, you
stuff, you
don't.
say,
No,
oh,
you
you know,
don't.
you can pick it up in my
No,
office, I said,
do
you can put
not.
it in my desk.
No, you do not. You said,
We can go
you
back
said
and
you
look
should
at-
not come into my office to pick up nothing.
We can go back and look at the minutes, and we could go back and listen to the tapes, and everybody up here knows that I've been asking for documents, and you said the documents are in your office. I am not going to your office and get any records. That's what a mailbox
You
is
should charge
for.
money for your show. You know
Okay,
what I'm saying?
okay.
You should charge money
So,
for your
I
show.
mean,
Trustee
we all
Grant,
show
thank you,
up there,
please
so
go
that
with
means
your
me and you are.
I'm calling a point of order.
Right.
Point of order.
Right.
Let's go on with this meeting, please.
Thank you.
Overlook me, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a couple comments. First comment is that next week, Wednesday, I'll have the Budget and Finance Committee meeting here, 7 o'clock. My second comment is that, Trustee Brewer, in regards to this, your proposal, can you just come next week when we discuss it with your, I guess, your recommendations of how we're gonna come up with the $100,000 to do the audit if we decide to go take that route? Because I mean, that's a substantial amount of money. And then also, Mr. Mayor, comment for you. Last week, we didn't get the chance to hear from previous finance director on the budget versus actuals. Is it possible that next committee meeting, we could have the treasurer come in and give us, you know, I know he probably won't know exact details, or maybe he will, but can I give him, he can come in next week and kind of explain to us what's going on at the end of November, and then we can expect December to be closed as well.
Okay, the budget, the actuals, I mean, you want them to come into a committee meeting and do that?
Yeah, because that was supposed to happen at last committee meeting with the director, I mean,
Okay.
herself, and she wasn't here. So if he could just come next week and kind of explain that, and that I'm pretty sure that'll give us a better example of where we stand, at least as of November. And I'm pretty sure that'll help out with where the money is according to this.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Housing and Intergovernmental Relations, Trustee Cecil Tate. Ordinance Review Committee, Trustee Linda Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. Ordinance review is not met because we've had no ordinances to go over. So once we get some ordinances to go over, then we'll have a meeting. So I'm hoping that we have something in March that we've talked about, Mr. Mayor. So
Yes.
I will announce when we're going to have the meeting once I get an ordinance. And that
I'm
ends
glad
my
you said
report.
that, I'm gonna write that down, yes, you're absolutely right.
I'm going to call and leave a message for you on you so that you know. Because I'm sure we're going to have one for next month, but we do not meet when we don't have ordinances. So hopefully we'll have something in March. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Beth Zupan.
I just wanted to thank those who joined us last week. We had a nice turnout, so thank you to the guests who joined us. And Clerk Marva, I lost track of where I was at with your stuff as you were going through all your different parts of your report. You were talking about your meeting on the 14th, as in 2 days from now? Okay, and you said that was at what, 2 o'clock with Kevin? 2 o'clock. Okay. Okay, thank you. And that was all I had. Thank you very much.
Okay, Trustee Carter.
Mr. Mayor, this time I have nothing to say.
Okay. Reports of committees and commissions, Senior Advisory Council. Mr. Coleman, Vice President, in for Mr. Emmett Farmer, Chairman. Oh, as you press the button, you got to get green.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, board members. The report is as follows. Our next meeting for the Senior Advisory Council is Thursday, February 21st. All is welcome. Game night is every first and third Friday. Please come out and invite your seniors for a bid whiz and other games. Third, also, our first senior luncheon, which was scheduled for February 28th, has been canceled and will resume in March. And this concludes our report.
Thank you. Unfinished business. I'll entertain a motion of the Village of Sauk Village in Will Cook County is authorizing the village to enter into an updated boundary agreement with the Village of Crete in accordance with Ordinance 18-021.
Second.
It was moved by Trustee Carter, second by Trustee Zupan. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer? Yes. Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Motion is carried. New business. I'll entertain a motion to approve accounts payable dated February the 12th, 2019 in the amount of $497,467.16.
Mr. Mayor, that number's been updated.
Oh, I'm sorry, revised. $499,067.16.
So moved.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
It was moved by Trustee
Grant.
Grant, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions?
I got questions. Mr. Mayor, on page 1, I would like a copy, and I don't know who we could get it from now, of the invoice for Republic Service for, I guess, December 2018. Who would I get a copy of that from for? For $56,000, what is that? It's $217.70.
Okay.
Okay, and the item number 2, it says we have all these expenditures on here for from Amazon for office supplies. I like copies of all those invoices. And also we have something on there from Joe for $75. It just said cash reimbursement for what? So I'd like to know what's that for about. Item number 3, we have 3 professional service from Dr. Strader for human resources, and one is for $2,040. That's outside of the norm, so why is she getting a little paid extra? I don't, what is that for?
You want me to answer these one by one?
Well, yeah.
Okay, back to the cash reimbursement for Amazon, those office supplies. I mean, I can't tell you if they need a pen, piece of paper, but if we need it, we order it, and we stay on top of it. But I'm sure there's receipts that we can get and get copies of. Obviously, it has to be received if there's an entry in here. As far as the extra money for Dr. Strader, that's the week that we had the problem, so I had to have her stay over because at that time I needed to get more involved, get someone involved with the transition that we were just told about. So I asked her to stay there so we can get more and find out as much as we possibly can within those next 3 days, really, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that was on the Wednesday.
You skipped one, cash reimbursement for Joe?
As I stated before, I'm going to find out all of that on there to find out what they were. I can't tell you what they are. I'll be lying if I could. So I can get the receipts and find out.
Okay, also down here, number 4, you have 3 additional expenditure, $850 a piece for Dr. Strader, and I'd like a copy of the invoices for those. Also for the lab group, we have 2 additional, it's 3 additional invoices. I'd like to see those, and one of them for $17,885.73. I'd just like to know how much what is that for? I'd like to take a look at those invoices for us, because we have to pay them. I just like to know what they're being, what we ask them to be paid.
Trustee, when did you get the accounts payable?
It doesn't matter when I got the accounts payable. I had an attorney from Olsen and Sturp today asking the same questions, and she said she didn't have them. So I guess I'm just letting you know. I didn't have this since Friday. Still haven't got any answers from me. Also, if we go to you have a payment of, where did I see that? For the TIF fund, for TIF 4, for $3,755.25. I'd like to know, I know it's for the TIF, but I'd like to know specifically what is it for? You know, who authorized money to be taken out of TIF to be paid for this TIF fund? So with those, I like those things to be removed until we can take a look at them. It's my right as a trustee to ask, and so I'm putting it out there. Because all these invoices here, doesn't make any sense. We paying all this money and we don't even know what it's for.
Where did you see $300,000?
On page 6, there's $3,755.
You said $300,000.
On page 6, there's $3,756.25 for Kane McKinney. What is that for?
Obviously, professional services.
I understand it's professional service. I'd like to know the details. Also like to know the details on the lap group. What are we paying all this money for her? I'd like to know the details on Dr. Struthers. What are we paying monies for? Also, I'd like to know what are they buying for all these office supplies? What did Joe buy for his money? And, you know, so on and so on. Yes, we get the invoices, but I'd like to see the details. I asked them to be removed.
Any other questions?
When can I get those invoices?
Any other questions?
When can I get the invoices? Copy of the invoices?
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay,
Trustee Todd? No. Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
No.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Motion's carried. I entertain a motion for the resolution of the improvements for under the Illinois Highway Code.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item C, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the Alcoholic Beverage Establishment Code.
Question before we have a motion. Can I do that?
And it's a
You can have
separate
the question
question.
after the motion has been, after it's been seconded. No.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Carter, second by Trustee Grant. Any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought we were, and I'm sorry, so last week when we discussed this, I was complaining about we didn't see the strike-throughs and the underlines, and so we did get that copy. So thank you for that. But we didn't get a clean copy to go with what we're approving tonight. So I'm moaning about the fact we don't have a clean copy now. And one of the things we did discuss was the fact that item number 1 was redundant with number 3. So because of the fact that we don't have a clean copy, I don't know for sure that we're going to remove number 1 and be left with just on Sunday between 12 and 12 and all other days.
I think you wanted to eliminate 3 because it was redundant. You could have just put, like, number 1, you could say Monday through Saturday, because the hours are the same.
Yeah.
So
Not all of it.
No, it's not. And last week, trustee had asked to get rid of 3 because you're stating this and then you go over here and saying all other days, but it's the same hours. So I would say Monday through Saturday
11, or not 11, I apologize, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. You could get rid of number 3 and just have 1 and 2.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Okay, I'll ask to have that, your motion, who made the motion and the second withdrawal.
I'll withdraw the second.
You withdraw the motion. Okay. And for it to state, item number 1, which is Fridays and Saturdays between 8 and 2 a.m. And then item number 3, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. on all other days.
No, we were gonna get rid of.
Right. Number 3. You want to get rid of number 3 because it's like,
Redundant to what?
what you could, number 1, you could put
Number 1 only says.
on Monday through Saturday, because those hours are the same. 8 a.m. to, you could eliminate 3 and just include it in 1.
Oh, so in other words, you want to rewritten to say Monday through Saturday?
Right.
You're right, because the hours are the same. So you
Okay,
can
Monday through
eliminate 3.
Saturday, 8 to 2, correct? Okay. And then Sunday will stay the same, but Sunday between 12 and 12 midnight.
Right.
Okay. All right, what I'll do is, I'll have this, rewritten. You guys get a copy, and then we'll go from there. So we won't even entertain this. Yes. So we'll get this rewritten to make sure that what you said, and that's what you want. Monday through Saturday, 8 to 2, and Sunday,
Will remain the same. 12 and
no, because it's saying that it's unlawful to sell alcohol except from 12 noon to 12 midnight, okay. All right, then everything else will take off, okay. I have that rewritten and get it out to the board and we'll go from there, but right now we cannot vote on this. Okay. Item number 3, item D. I'll entertain a motion for the resolution to partner with CMAP, Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, in the Embedded Staff Planner Program. We talked about that, and that would be the person that's going to be working with us. No cost to the village, but we do have to put in there that this person will be working with us, and we have to have a resolution for that, as we talked about last week. So I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Carter. Any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Should the memo of understanding be attached as an exhibit?
You had it from last week.
Yeah, I was just curious to know though if it should be attached as an exhibit.
There are 12
Okay.
documents that will be with, but rather than to make all of those copies again, as you had to just the other day, I gave you just a resolution.
Okay, just curious because there was no reference to them as exhibits. That's fine.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk. Second by trustee Carter.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer? Yes. Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by trustee Tate, second by trustee Grant. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposers? Motion carried. Good night.